Hey guys, Yummy here again, and today I wanted to talk about a question that came into my head, and it's just, are any of the maps in Battlefield 4 memorable? And of course I don't mean memorable in the way of just remembering it, because honestly that's like any map in any game ever made. What I mean is, are there any Battlefield 4 maps that are iconic, like something that shows the entire memory of the game in itself, like something that when you think of Battlefield 4 in the future, you'll think of this one map? Because Battlefield 3 has had maps redone in Battlefield 4, Battlefield 2 has had maps redone. It's just kind of like wondering, is Battlefield 4 gonna have any of its maps redone, or any of its maps iconic enough to where they can be redone? And I mean, whenever you think of maps being redone, probably the best example is the Halo franchise. And Halo Combat Evolved back in 2002, there was Blood Gulch, and it was such a simple map. It was just a two-sided map with a small fort on both sides, a big open plain in the middle, and then little tunnels on the sides. And still, it was remade in Halo 2 as Coagulation, in Halo 3 as Valhalla, Halo 4 as Ragnarok, and it was also in Halo Reach and Halo 5 as well. It's basically like the map of the Halo franchise. And going even further, Nuketown has been in all three Black Ops Call of Duties, so it's basically iconic of those three games. I'm just wondering if any of the Battlefield 4 maps are so iconic that they will be duplicated in future Battlefield titles. Because, I mean, whenever you think of iconic Battlefield maps, there's Dragon Valley, which was redone, Gulf of Oman, definitely Metro, maybe even Grand Bazaar from Battlefield 3 as well. But just whenever I get to Battlefield 4, I have trouble thinking of a map that I could definitely see remade in future games, besides maybe Operation Lockers, but it's just a little bit too similar to Metro for me to want that to be the map that's going to be reincarnated. I guess the biggest indicator that a map can be reincarnated is mainly in its simplicity. I mean, when you think of Coagulation, I mean, Blood Gulch or Nuketown, they're really simple maps. But whenever it comes to the Battlefield franchise, especially in Battlefield 4, it seems the maps have been getting increasingly more complex as the titles go on, to where it's not really iconic, because a lot of them are just basic open plains with different little villages and settlements scattered throughout them, especially things like Golmud Railway. They seem to be getting so complex, making sure that they have enough flanking routes and stuff for everything, that it doesn't really give it an iconic look or iconic locations. Whenever they're not as constricted as like maps in Battlefield 3 were, especially the infantry maps. I just think that this contributes to them not having as much of an impact on the players. I may be completely wrong here, because I'm remembering that Dragon Valley and Gulf of Oman are pretty sizable maps in themselves, but then I'm remembering that they did a really good job of sectioning off their parts of the map and making iconic locations, such as the island in the middle of Dragon Valley, and how Gulf of Oman has kind of an urban gradient, where on the US side of the map there's like hardly any buildings at all, especially, well, towards the carrier, of course it's in open water, and then once you get towards the middle part of the map, there's like a few more buildings than there were before, and then once you get to the Russian side of the map, there's like, you know, tons of skyscrapers and stuff. It gives it like a really iconic look of how one side is almost barren and then the other side is pretty populated with buildings. But I'm not sure if any new maps in Battlefield 4 capture that same iconic feel. Thinking specifically of Battlefield 4's vanilla maps, I think maybe Lankang Dam could be iconic if they actually, fixed some of the balancing issues on the map, such as maybe if they got rid of the jets and the AA tanks, the map would be a lot more fun. even my favorite maps in Battlefield 4, such as Zavad 311 or Propaganda, I just don't really feel it with them either. I mean, it could just be because there hasn't been like a long enough period of time passed for us to feel nostalgic about them. Maybe it has to be until we're halfway through the next Battlefield title for us to start missing some of the maps in Battlefield 4. It may just be because I'm getting older that I'm just not feeling the same way about some maps than I used to. I'm just gonna have to find out in future Battlefield titles. But if you guys think that there are any maps that are memorable in this way, then make sure you put it down in the comment section below, and hope maybe even like a little explanation as to why you think they're so iconic, why they'd be a great idea to be duplicated in future Battlefield titles. But if you guys like this, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and until next time, this is Yummy. Goodbye and good hunting.
Nice. A little bit too late, but yes.